Hey, what I'm up though, guys? Your favorite auditor, audit them, the one who encourages you to audit them. So this is Christine, the FOIA officer from Bull Valley, Illinois Village Hall. I visited the town a few days ago. She was very strange in the way she was acting and very passive aggressive. Um, on top of that, she was non-compliant with Section 4 of the Freedom of Information Act. Um, and could care less about her FOIA paperwork or providing the operating budget, yada yada. You know, us as the people, we have the right to record our government employees in the official course of their duties. It's a very small percentage of the employees who act like these employees here with no transparency, just think they could brush off the members of the public like we work for them. It's the other way around. They work for the taxpayers, they work for the people. We vote these people in, and we could put in a word to have them, uh, you know, have them seek training, a better training, and learn how to serve the public with more respect. Anyway, she decided to put a copyright strike against her face on the YouTube video an hour after it was posted. So I wanted to call and find out what that was all about. And here's how that went.
Thank you for calling the Village of Bull Valley. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the village clerk, or if you have questions about our dog park, please press. Please hold while I try to connect you. This is Christine.
Yes, good afternoon. This call here is being monitored and recorded. Ma'am, I visited that town a few days ago, and I recorded my interaction with the FOIA officer. I'm calling because it looks like the FOIA officer submitted a privacy complaint on YouTube against the video that I uploaded of my encounter recording government employee in the official course of their duty for accountability and transparency. Are you the one who put that copyright strike?
Bull Valley Police Department.
Yes, good afternoon. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
This is the Chief of Police. What can I do for you?
Chief of Police. Yes, this call here is being monitored and recorded. What's the first
You do
name
not
of
have my
the
permission to record. You don't have my permission to record this conversation.
Are you claiming I don't have the right to record government employees in the official course of their duty?
I'm not giving you my authorization to record my voice.
I'm not even interested in speaking to you. I need to speak.
Thank you for calling the Village of Bull Valley. If this is an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. For the village clerk, or if you have questions about our dog park, please press 1. For the bill. Please hold while I try to connect you.
Bull Valley Police Department.
Yeah, I need to speak to the clerk.
She's not available.
When would she be back in office? This call is being monitored and recorded.
You don't have my permission for recording. Bull Valley Police Department.
Yeah, we're going to begin our investigation on this town. Yep, can I speak to the mayor, please?
She is not available.
Okay, when would she be in office?
She doesn't hold regular office hours. She's in sporadically.
Okay, sir,
If
is
you'd like
there...
to leave a name, if you'd like to leave a name and number, I can leave it for her, and she'll call you at her convenience.
Well, again, I'm calling to figure out why this town is not acting forthcoming or transparent, why they're so rude and keep on hanging up the phone, when I'm simply have the right to record for accountability and transparency.
Do you have a question I can answer for you right now, sir?
Yeah, sure. Are you claiming that I don't have the right to record you in the official course of your duty? That's my question.
Any business I can ask you? All right. Well, this call is deemed as harassment, and if you can.
Alrighty, guys. So here is a threat by the police chief for harassment. He says if I continue to call. Let's read the actual harassment code in the state of Illinois, which does not fall into these set of phone calls here. 720 ILCS 526.51. This is also what I have on my clipboard. Transmit or obscene messages. A person commits transmission of obscene messages when he or she sends messages or uses language or terms which are obscene, lewd, or immoral with the intent to offend by means of or while using a telephone or telegraph facilities, equipment, or wires of any person, firm, or corporation engaged in the transmission of news or messages between states or within the state of Illinois. So as of A, I don't fall into that because I did not use any, according to these calls, lewd or offensive language. I simply wanted to set an appointment. B, the trier of fact in intent to offend or use someone with language in obscene, lewd. Okay. Harassment by telephone. A person commits harassment by telephone when he or she uses a telephone communication for any of the following purposes. Number one, making any comment, request, suggestion, or proposal which is obscene, lewd, filthy, or indecent with an intent to offend. So number one, I don't fall into that because I never made any of those claims. Number two, making a telephone call, whether or not conversation ensues, with the intent to abuse, threaten, or harass any person at the called number. So let's think about it. I called the first lady to ask her if she had any comment about why she would file a copyright strike, which there's no expectation of privacy in public, where we have the right to record government employees in the official course of their duty. So she hung up the phone. So I called back. I don't know why she hung up the phone. She could have probably done that by mistake, but from the looks of it, she did that with ill intent, with negligence, because I called back to find out why the phone was disconnected, and the police chief picks up on the second call. I inform him the call is being monitored and recorded. He says, I don't have the right to record him. I simply ask him, are you claiming people don't have the right to record government employees in the official course of their duties? He hangs up. So number three, making or causing the telephone of another repeatedly to ring with the intent to harass any person at the called number. So let's get this straight. We know what harassment is, right? Harass means to cause, harassment right here means to cause, making any comment of obscene, lewd, filthy, with intent to offend. So definitely, there's no words that I said which would cause offensive matter. So I did call. It says making repeated telephone calls during which conversation solely to harass. So no, I called 4 times total. The first time the lady hung up, the FOIA officer hung up. The second time I called to find out more about this incident. So the police chief hangs up. The third time I call back, now I'd like to speak to somebody other than the FOIA officer because I know she clearly hung up the phone with ill intent. Now I know the police chief on the second phone call hung up the phone with ill intent, not wanting to be held accountable or transparent. And he as a person who has an oath of office, who swore to protect our right, is going against that and violating his own code. So the third time I called was to set up an appointment, which was with a fourth time as well, to speak to a different staff member. So I made 4 phone calls, but it was not, the intent was not to harass, and nowhere do I fall under the harass category because it is all official business. My phone calls were. Number 5, making a telephone call knowing at the time that the person is under 13. So that one doesn't apply. Number 6, knowing permitting any telephone to be used for the purposes of mentioned herein. Every telephone directory published. Okay, so there it is, guys. There's the elements of harassment. It's just sickening how these public employees try to twist things. Like I said, I visited more than 300 agencies in Illinois. It's just a small percentage of rude, condescending employees like these people here. Now, according to this police chief, you do not have your right to redress your government. You do not have a right to record government employees in the official course of their duties, or he will construe that as harassment and try to make fictitious lies, obligations about you. Well, anyway, the good thing about the people is we are the one who elect these people in office. We have the right to hire them or include training, reach out to the agencies to promote training for these individuals. Well, that's nor here nor there. I know a lot of you guys will start your investigation through the Freedom of Information request, get the personnel files of these employees, all arrests, It looks like this. I did a little deep digging past 10 minutes into this police chief. It looks like he was an officer 2 years ago. Then he got promoted straight up to a police chief. So let's see his arrest records when he was an officer. Let's interview the people that he arrested. Let's see let's get their side of the story. This should have never opened up into more than a transparent and forthcoming act by our intelligent government employees, especially this one being a police chief and the lady being a FOIA officer. These you would think are supposed to be intelligent, forthcoming employees, but the way they're responding to this is a no. The people are the ones who are in power. We are the ones who are on top of their organizational chart. So let's continue on listening to this message here.
Is deemed as harassment, and if you continue to call, I will be contacting my local state attorney's office.
Well, it's not harassment if I'm calling to answer questions.
I'm just letting you know what I'm going to do. Do you have any questions about that statement I just made to you, sir? At this point, I'm going to say, if you have no additional village business.
So now you just threatened me. You just threatened me. I'd like to set an appointment. I'd like to set an appointment with the police chief at this point. I'd like to set an appointment. This call is being recorded, sir. I just like to set an appointment with the police chief.
You do not have my authorization to record my voice.
Well, it will be on air, sir.
You do not have my authorization to record.
I have the right by the United States Constitution.
Have a good day.
What a disturbing way this police chief decided to handle this situation. He's acting like, he's above the law in some way. This is how a tyrant acts. You guys go ahead and begin your investigation. Reach out to the agencies about this police chief. We're going to receive records of all the people he arrested when he was an officer, and we're going to interview them, get their side of the story. All that is public record, and he's the one who has to turn around and provide all those records to us. You do not have the right to redress your government with this police chief.